I'll get this from Ryan. No, I don't worry about moving too quickly because this has been a very methodical process to begin with. You just have to give these things a normal time to progress at a good pace. Well, it may not be moving too quickly for him, but how about the rest of us? We don't even know what's in the House bill yet. The Senate bill's so damn long, people are now trying to figure out what's in it, and it's coming to the fore slowly but surely. Of course they're moving too quickly. Does the Boston terror attack change anything, asks Pollack at Breitbart News. Ryan, I don't think so. If anything, it shows that we need to modernize our immigration laws. There they go with the liberal words. Modernize. I'm waiting for him to use the word investments. We don't know who's overstaying their visa. We don't know who's coming into the country. We don't have firm control of our borders. And we need to modernize our laws. We have a clunky 20th century system. You know what? We have a really clunky 18th century constitution, too. It's very clunky. But I love it. Apparently members of Congress don't. We need to modernize our system for the 21st century. Well, that's what scares me. They're going to modernize it for the 21st century, and there goes our sovereignty, there goes our economy, there goes everything. We want to do it right, so we need long-term enduring reforms so that we do not do the job halfway as in previous two rounds of reform in 1986 and 96. Neither fixed the problem, they just created more problems. What do you make of the conservative response to the Senate bill? Ryan, I don't think it's a unified response. I think there have been different views. We're the party who believes in the rule of law and economic growth. We're the party that believes, all right, that's all BS. He's not really getting into it very much. Now, I have a letter in front of me, Congressman Ryan, from Deborah Burlingame. And she lost her brother on 9/11. He was murdered in the cockpit. And she wants you to know something about your good friend, Luis Gutierrez. And she sent you a letter today. Dear Congressman Ryan, this message is to let you know how disappointing it was to see the news story dismissing the Boston bombing's relevance to an effort to push through immigration reform without due consideration of the contents of the legislation. This dismissal was especially chilling given the fact that your immigration reform partner, Luis Gutierrez, was the chief spokesman for the political wing of the FALN terrorist organization, which carried out 146 bombings in a 25-year period, killing 9 people and injuring and maiming dozens. Representative Gutierrez was his chief advocate for the pardoning of 16 convicted FALN members whose sentences ranged up to 90 years. These men and women were so dangerous they were shackled for their trial, and the presiding judge wore a gun under his robes because they had threatened to kill him in open court. Representative Gutierrez, against all evidence, including FBI undercover videotape of these people making bombs, called them political prisoners and threatened to marshal the Puerto Rican community against the Clintons, Vice President Gore, then preparing a presidential run as well. It's not surprising, therefore, that Mr. Gutierrez would be unalarmed by the fact that a wannabe terrorist under scrutiny by the FBI would be a candidate for U.S. citizenship. Terrorists have a history of defrauding the U.S. immigration system, gaming the political asylum process, and using the guest worker program to gain temporary access to the United States, only to disappear into the population. Our overburdened system doesn't bother to look for them. Several of the 1993 bombers came in through the Ag Jobs program. The 9/11 hijackers overstayed tourist visas. The Millennium Bomber gamed the immigration system in Canada and tried to enter the U.S. through Port Washington. He was the only one stopped because of an astute border agent. Please be warned, Mr. Gutierrez is not a good faith partner in this effort. His history with the FALN is proof of that. The record is replete with his letters and threats. I am including the piece I wrote for the Wall Street Journal. All of my source documents were found in the congressional investigation that took place in the wake of these pardons. And among the people I interviewed was the chief FBI agent Rick Hahn, who hunted the FALN for years, as well as the New York bomb squad, who were permanently disabled, the officers in those bombings. I've informed Joseph Connor, whose father was killed in the FALN Francis Tavern bombing in New York City, of your partnership with Mr. Gutierrez and your joint affirmation that the Boston bombings have no relevance to immigration legislation. Very truly yours, Deborah Burlingame, co-founder, 9/11 Families for a Safe and Strong America. It disappoints me to no end to see honorable men like Paul Ryan and Marco Rubio to pretend that immigration has nothing to do with what took place in Boston. Because what they're really saying is immigration has nothing to do with national security, when in fact, that's the first obligation of border security. Although I should amend that. I saw Marco Rubio said, look, if we need to modify the proposal to address what took place in Boston, we should. So I will say that. But Paul Ryan dismisses it out of hand. That's appalling. That's outrageous.